Welcome back to the SuperCoach Hub BBL podcast, the first one of the year. Kickoff starts Sunday. I'm the host, Scoble. You know me. I talk a lot of dribble on Twitter. I'm joined by Joshy. How are you, mate?
I'm good. It's good to be back. First pod since the footy season. So keen to get stuck into it and just can't wait for Sunday night.
Oh, absolutely. And you're looking trim as well in that Melbourne training video I saw of you, Clary Oliver. You're looking good, mate.
Oh, my God.
Largs, how are
Hey,
you?
mate. Good, buddy. How are you?
I'm good. I'm fantastic. How have you been up in that, made up place that has a terrible time zone?
No, we're going good up here, mate. The summer's coming, the summer of a sport, and big bash in a few nights' sleep, so she's all good.
I'm super keen for it. My God. I mean, AFL ending, that was sad, but BBL starting, it's been amazing. We have got an absolute shitload to cover, so let's get right into it. The first question we want to know, how many doublers are we starting with? Joshy, seeing as you're in the middle of my screen, you can kick us off. How many's in your starting draft, mate?
I've got 9 at the moment. Whether it stays that way, I'm not too sure. But 9, and then I still got a couple of strikers in Overton and Short, Thornton on the bench, and also Joe Richo. So still planning for the doubles ahead, and also got Rentro as well. But 9 at the moment. But if I want another one, I'll probably get rid of someone and get a Jack Edwards in, who I'm really looking at closely, but just can't fit in at the moment, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, completely understandable. What about you, Largs? How's your draft looking initially, mate? How many doublers are we starting with?
I'm the same as Joshy at the moment, 9. But like I said earlier, I think my team's changed half a dozen times just today with all the news of ins and outs. So I'm sitting on 9. Whether I'm comfortable with those 9, I'm yet to decide, but that's where we're at the moment.
I like that. Now, as always, I always prepare immaculately. So I can't exactly tell you how many doublers I've got because I haven't counted them. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them. 10. Yes. And I would assume that we all have maybe a little less stars than Renegades. Is that a fair call? Joshy, your thoughts?
I think I've got more stars, actually.
Yeah, right. Interesting.
Yeah, I got more stars at the moment since the Milne signing. That's banking on Webster being available as well, which we really don't know what's going to happen there. But yeah, the Gades, I feel like all their good players are bowlers, and I just don't want to load up too much on Gades bowlers. I don't want to have 3 or 4 from the same side in just bowling. So at the moment, it's probably more stars, but it's pretty even split. I think it's like 5 and 4.
Yeah. Largs, what about yourself, mate? Much difference or?
Exactly same as Joshy. I got 5 stars and 4 Gades, and that's not including Webster. The latest I'd read today was that they're not expecting him available, so I haven't got him in at the moment. So,
can I ask as to why they're not expecting him to be available? Is that purely just because they think Marsh is going to be rested?
Yeah, no, I don't even think it's that. I think it's that backup. Is it that what is it? That head knock backup that they like to carry in case someone gets
concussion
injured.
sub.
Concussion, yeah. I think he's locked in there for that. Is what they're saying. The Gades that had the interview with their Gades coach, and he was the Stars coach, and he was expecting not to. He said Maxi and Webster. Obviously, we've heard about Maxi just recently, but yeah, Webster they don't think's available either. So
yeah, which is quite annoying. I mean, I nearly called HR the other day because Joshy sent me a very abusive text message that I can't repeat on this regarding Webster's availability. And we had, I reckon fair to say, a fairly big disagreement about it, mate. Do you want to lead us into this?
Yeah, and who was the one that was saying, I don't think he's going to play? I don't think he's going to be available. It was me.
You. Yeah. I reckon you're wrong. I just...
Oh, no. Well, if the Stars coach is saying it, then I guess he's not going to be available. especially, I actually forgot about that concussion sub. I thought it was always just the 12th man, but I guess it kind of makes sense with Webster because he can bat and bowl as opposed to like a bowler and who's just a sole bowler. Marnus's career is built off him coming in for the Ashes in England as a concussion sub, and he took his chance. So that's interesting to hear. I actually think it makes it a bit easier that like that 160K, you get to go down to someone, and then I personally could use the cash to play around with, definitely. But then I think it's actually good for Supercoach guys like Maxi and Webster and Hardy are unavailable just because of how highly owned they are. I think it's good to have a bit more variety.
No, I absolutely agree. Largs, what's your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, same. Well, it was a lot of the teams, or I guess, were starting to look a bit vanilla, and the same. And all these outs for big guys is going to make things very different. So there's a massive gap from Matty Short to the next available cheapest player too. So that's changed things up a lot within the BBL community as well, and everyone seems to have a slightly different view. So as Josh says, I think it's good for our SuperCoach comp, and there's going to be a fair range of different teams out there now.
I completely agree on the variety of teams, which I'm 100% all for. I just, like, what did Marsh do last test? Like, what did he actually do?
I think he bowled one over, didn't he?
Bowled one over. Didn't he go out when he wasn't actually out, and he was out there for maybe like 15 minutes? So he's genuinely done nothing. Like, literally nothing. Last test would have been absolutely perfect to literally say, mate, have a rest. Webster, you play. Simple as that. So I don't know as to why they would rest him now when he's gotten through the test unscathed.
But I don't think it's the rest factor that the Stars are worried about. I think it's, as Largs is saying, it's just he's going to be the concussion sub.
No, I can completely understand that. Completely understand that. And I guess to counter that, it was fantastic to see Inglis in the test squad. Like, that, you can't take that away from him. But in saying that, the evening prior to the start of the Shield games, he was in the nets with the test boys getting throwdowns. And then literally an hour later, he's on a plane back home or to wherever the game was, and he was included. Like, he obviously included in the Perth team. And I think with that just tells me Cricket Australia are going to do literally whatever they want, whenever they want. Again, it comes back to the Maxi situation. Like, the comments, when you read them, all I got from it was, if he's not 100% right to do everything that he wants to, so i.e. field and obviously field to his full capacity, bowl to his full capacity, and obviously bat to his full capacity, he's not going to play. Like, he was talking about the tour to Sri Lanka, then he was talking about his longevity in cricket. Like, let's be honest, as much as we all love the Big Bash, that compared to playing for Australia and going on an overseas tour where arguably he's probably one of the better players in those conditions, like, that just outweighs it for me. So it was pretty obvious Maxi wasn't going to be picked, but it also tells me that Cricket Australia are just going to do whatever they want, and regardless of what, say, a Perth says with Inglis or a Stars say with Maxi, they're not going to have input. Cricket Australia is going to have the final say. Like, am I thinking or viewing that in a wrong way, or are we in agreement with that? Like, what's your thoughts, Joshy?
No, I do agree. Like, especially when the Stars coach is saying they don't think, or that Maxi definitely won't be available purely because of Cricket Australia, and you have to work in with them. And the fact that they want him managed, I guess, or taking a bit longer to come back from that hammy just purely because of that Sri Lanka test, or series that you're mentioning, I think it definitely is a big factor. And yeah, in general, like you're saying, players would prefer to play test than a Big Bash comp that goes 4 weeks, 8 weeks. So
yeah, I mean, they've got their contract. The money's in the bank account before they even step out in their colours. Simple as that. Larks, what's your thoughts on it, mate? Are you, I guess,
Yeah,
agreeing?
it's similar. I think we've seen previous years. I think it was it Nisa and Jai and that were managed by Cricket Australia, and they come in and they were basically told if they're playing, then they're not to sort of do a lot. And what did Nisa bowl? 2 overs and 1 overs and 3 overs and that sort of stuff leading into it. So I think it's the same. I think also with Slug, like he's going to be in Brisbane as well. Like I'm not sure how far is the flight from Brisbane to Perth to play. I mean, it's a bit of a long one. That was the same with Maxi. We knew Maxi wasn't going to jump on a 6-hour flight and head over to Perth to play. If the coach came out like the day or 2 days ago and said he doesn't think Maxi or Webster will play, then I think that was the writing on the wall. The Maxi news come out, officially this afternoon, and then I think we'll hear about Webster in the next few days. That's how it seems to be. And as much as we'd love our BBL to be bigger and more important, we've seen it before with internationals withdrawing last minute, getting offers to go elsewhere and going, and our draft system not sort of doing what we wanted it to do. But not sure what the answer is there. But I think back to that, I don't think Slug will play.
Yeah, neither do I. Well, sorry, I should say I don't think Mac will. We know now, thank you to our dear friend Amit, beautiful friend of the podcast. He actually found the quote on the Stars website, I think, or the Cricket Australia website. So shout out to him. So Maxi is not going to be there round 1. I am still dubious over Webster playing. But good segue. How long ago was it until you did not have Glenn Maxwell in your SuperCoach team, Joshy?
Are we talking this season or ever?
No, this season. Like, was it literally when you saw it tonight, or were you planning, say, 2 weeks ago? Like, what?
No, it was probably, I'd say about a week ago. I didn't take him out as soon as he did that injury, but I can't remember what happened, but there was something that came out that he was a bit more doubtful than he would be to play. So then I started making teams with Matt Short in it, your little love child. But
you mean the best player in Australia?
Domestic bully, in other terms.
We pay you far too much for these idiotic comments.
Yeah, but as soon as I realized it was more unlikely than likely, I'd say that's when I got him in and started to make teams with Matt Short, because I've seen a lot of people might be fading Short entirely, but I definitely want to get him, and my avenue to him was Maxwell post round 1. So I've started making teams without him for a while now.
What about you, Largs? Was it a shock to your SuperCoach team to remove Jim Maxwell? No?
No, I love Maxi. He's probably my favourite cricketer to watch, and has been for a while, but he hasn't been in my side for 1 to 2 weeks. Unfortunately, you just have to take it on face value, and you can't have your favourites like some others do. But he hasn't. He hasn't been in my side for a couple of weeks now, so I've been building teams without him as well.
Is that purely because you didn't think he'd play, or price point?
I just don't think he'll bowl. I just didn't think with that injury he would be bowling, and I didn't want to pay that much for a pure batsman.
Mm-hmm. So leads me to my next question, which you've kind of already answered. Glenn Maxwell gets named to open the batting, but before the game, Stoyan at the toss says he's not going to bowl. Do you still pick him? Joshy, yes or no?
No, I wouldn't. No way. Not 254K for a bat only.
Largs?
No, can't.
No, I'm in total agreement. Absolute agreement. I don't think he'll get named if he's not 100%. Obviously, he's not playing round 1, but the coming rounds, if he's just going to play as a batsman, I don't think it's worth it. But we will move on from round 1. How are we all preparing for round 2? Joshy, what's your strategy, mate?
I kind of touched on it a little bit before in the intro, more so when we're talking about how many stars and grades we have. But I'm planning I've got Renshaw on the bench at the moment. Constas is that other bat bench. I wouldn't mind trying to get him up to a turner, and maybe getting someone out like Webster could get money to do that. But other than that, I've got Thornton on the bench as well, and then Matt Short and Overton on the field. So I feel like I'm pretty well placed. And then I think a lot of people are also forgetting that round 3, the Stars have the double again. So don't really have to stock up as much, I think, on the Heat and Sixers for the round 3, purely because you should have a few Stars left over. But definitely more focused towards getting in those Scorchers and Strikers for that round 2 at the moment, that is.
So from the Scorchers, you've only got Richo right now?
At the moment, yeah. At the moment, Richo, Thornton, Short, and Overton. So, I've looked at Berendorf, and again, that could be Webster straight to Berendorf. So I've looked at him. I've looked at a few others. Turner, as I said, kind of cooled a little bit on him. I always knew he was going to bat at 5, but just now that the news that Connolly and Agar are probably touch and go for round 1 makes me think they're going to be ready round 2. So I've kind of called on Turner because I did actually genuinely think there was a chance he could bowl as that first spinner.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Larks, what about you, mate? How many Strikers and Scorchers do you have currently in your side?
I've got 3 Scorchers and 2 Strikers at the moment.
So I would say that 5 is probably above the normal. Is that why are you going with 5, mate?
So that sort of segues me into another decision that I'm looking to make. So my Scorchers, I'm looking to go Finn Allen. I'm going to chuck Finn Allen in.
Yes, he's on my bat bench currently. Yes.
Yep. And I've got Richo and AJ Ty as my other 2. And my Strikers, I have Jamie Overton and Thornton.
Nice.
So that's my 5.
Nice. Well, I have 4. Now,
I noticed he didn't pick you up on someone there, Larks.
He didn't. I don't know if he's realised yet.
When you wrestle with pigs, you get muddy, mates, and I'm above that. So let's move on. You're an absolute idiot if you're not picking Matt Short. All right. I've got Jai Richo on the bowler's bench, Finn Allen, bat bench, and Thornton, bowler's bench, and King Short on field, because what kind of man doesn't command that kind of respect? But honestly, for me, it seems as if, I'm the only one that I'm not too sure on is Finn Allen right now. Like, the amount of times that I've interacted with people and just got their opinions, I've narrowed it down to it's either Finn Allen or Jack Edwards. Now, I want to see what happens in a few practice games regarding Jack Edwards, but it's fair to say that Finn Allen is 100% going to open for Perth. Like, there is no doubt in my mind that that's going to happen. Jai Richardson is an absolute bargain if he doesn't get injured. Hence why he's going to be looped for me, because he could bowl 1 over and that's it. Like, that's catch you later. Thornton, purely because he's underpriced for what I believe his output is. And obviously, Matty Short's about 150K underpriced for the best asset that any SuperCoach game has ever seen. Do we have any disagreements? I think we might.
Possibly.
Kick us off, Largs. Go for it, mate.
All right. Well, the way I'm looking at it is what we said earlier. Obviously, Matty Short's the most expensive in the comp by a long way. The gap between him and the next one, now that Maxie's not there, is huge. So I think you either start with him, or if you don't start with him, you need to look to see what it does to the rest of your team. I was happy originally to have Maxwell in there, and if I didn't start with Shorty, that was the easy option to sort of to trade him into there. I'm just looking with our strikers lineup too. I'm a bit worried that Matty Short's not really going to bowl, and he's not going to bowl his 3 with that team. What they go in, they've been quite upfront with looking at several spinners coming in. I think you got Fabian Allen as well coming in, who's an upgrade to what they've had previously. You've got the other 2 boys, is it Boyd and Pope? And then you've got your rest of your ones in there. So the way I'm looking at it is I'm thinking Shorty might just be that bat only possibly guy. I did read anyway. He generally only averages 20 points from his bowling anyway. So it is his batting which does the damage. But we said before we didn't want to pay 250,000 or whatever it was for Maxwell as a pure bat, but we're happy to pay over 300,000 for Matty Short as a pure bat. That Finn Allen is what I'm sort of looking at as maybe the difference, that he's half the price of Matt Short. You know, can he match him at least round one, and then go into the double? And can he match him, Matty Short, for half the price? If he can, that extra 150,000, I can basically get pretty much everyone else I want, almost in my whole team. It balances my team out a lot better. I can go into round two with big guys, not with Matt Short, which is obviously scary, but you can go in with all the others. Can I get a better team built for round two and for round one with my better players that I can afford without Matt Short than if I had Matt Short? And as it stands, it looks like I can. So that's the play.
Hang on. Because you were making sense, and I was actually agreeing with you up until you alluded to going into a double for the strikers without the captain, the bloke who's averaged the most in the last 2 seasons.
Potentially, yes.
You are one ballsy man, and that scares the living shit out of me. The only reason that I'm agreeing with you is because I reckon the Stars bowling lineup, besides probably Milne, is mediocre at best.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, they're going to get wickets. It's fair to say that. But it's not a Perth bowling lineup. It's not a Sixers lineup. If there's one bloke at the top of the innings that could absolutely feast, a la Colin Munro last year, round one, is, in my opinion, 100% Finn Allen. 100%. Yep. But I'm sure we can talk about that soon. Josh,
so at the moment,
yep.
I was going to say, at the moment, I've got Finn Allen on my bench with the emergencies. Yes. So that's
same here.
That's the plan. If he can go off and he can make a decent score and I can loop him in, I'm going to take that risk without Matt Short. If it doesn't work, maybe I might have to rejig things around. I don't know, but that's, it's that, as Andrew Langley always says, it's that flexibility and it's that moving and it's that changing things. So that's what we're looking at now. Probably makes it a little bit easier for me to move if I have to, with all these big price guys dropping out. Your Maxie's gone, your Hardy's gone, your Webster's potentially gone. There's no one else that is really expensive. I've already got Jamie Overton. He's the only other one that's up there. I'm not getting Xavier Bartlett, and Hossein's not here yet. I think they're all the other ones that are sort of up by them and Smithy, who doesn't come till late in the season. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at the moment. And think when I first heard it, I was a bit like you. I thought that seems crazy, but the more you look into it, the more it does actually make sense.
So what happens when it's 15 minutes before lockout round 2 and hypothetically you've made the choice, I need Matthew Short in? What do you do?
Well, I need to work the plan out. I need to see what's going on. I'm likely not starting with Buckingham. So
I don't reckon he plays. He didn't play in the most recent 2020 game for his club grade.
But that's good. If he's coming in, if he's makes a little bit of money, if he's 50, 60,000, that's a massive drop down from one of my guys to get cash if I have to. See there, the team I've been playing around with, even with those guys, I'm still looking at somewhere around 100,000 in my bank. So,
so you're keeping coin in the bank? Sorry,
potentially, yep. Potentially. It comes back to, like I said, all these guys that are dropping out that are big price guys. You can't really spend it on some of these others. But yeah, anyway, we'll see.
No, absolutely. Joshy, Are you of the same thinking, or what's the go, mate? Because I know you did pivot to short from Maxwell, but are you still there?
Yeah, I didn't want to start short at that price tag. I'll be honest there, but as soon as Maxi was out, I did get him in purely because Matt Short may not bowl, but I do think he will at times. He's the captain of that team, so he actually bowled in 10 out of 11 matches last year, and they did have Pope and Boyce in that side.
He didn't bowl his 3 though. I think you've seen the last 2 seasons, 52% of the time he has or hasn't bowled his 3. So,
and he's still averaging 103 points though. That's the thing. I think it's just bonus points. He's just that good with the bat. But the thing that I don't want to risk is, not starting him in round 1, not even having Maxwell, my most expensive player, being Overton, who I'm obviously going to keep for that round 2 double. If he pops in round 1 against the Thunder, which he's done the last 2 times, and I think
it's a favourable matchup.
Yeah, I think they're the worst team in the comp, to be honest, at the moment on paper. I think if he pops and I don't have him, I'm going to be stressing on how the hell I'm going to be able to afford this 300k guy and get him in. I think I saw if he scores 0, which chances of that is like the sun not coming up tomorrow. If he scores 0, he only drops 30k. So I can't imagine what I'd have to do if he scored an 80, a 90, even a 50 plus on how I was going to get that guy in.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And like what you said literally 2 minutes ago, Largs, I didn't realise until the very end of your conclusion that you were keeping cash in the bank. Now, I can completely understand if you're not going to start short. You've got to have, I'm talking maybe more than 100k. Absolutely more. Because
it's 150 to go from the 150k to Matt Short at
that's what I mean. I'm looking at players now.
I haven't. That's that's
not
locked in yet.
No. Say if you were if it comes around 2 and you're like, hang on, I need to get him in, because if you're solely against it, then you don't have an issue. There's no worries, but play on. But if you're just looking at the top side, I've got the only reason I've got Seifert right now instead of Inglis is because of the double, and 150k is so much easier to go up than, say, a Joe Clark going up at 117k. It's that price point. When I look at short and it starts with a 3, I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to need to trade a Seifert, well, in that price range, a Finn Allen. That's 2 just for 1. So does that mean that I'm going to trade 2 150k players and then another 100k player just so I can have 400k cash plus what's in my bank to get 1 bloke and 2 absolute potatoes? That is not a situation I want to be in.
Yeah, but the thing is, I guess with the money you're saving, the team's set up for round 2 with a lot of the guys that you don't need to get in, so you can limit who you're gonna take in that round 2. I mean, if you want short, again, it's not a definite that he's coming in if I go down this road. Well, I agree with what Johnny Smith says online. Lockie Ferg is going to take care of Matty Short.
I don't think he's ever going to play.
Hopefully he's back.
Johnny Smith, my God, do we have some stories about that?
We love that,
Jesus Christ. Yes, we're going to move on. Shout out to SuperCoach Edge because they're just harassing me again. Joshy, initially we said 3 Smokey picks, but I believe if we do 3 each, that's going to be 9, and then by the end of it, it's going to be a disaster because there'll be none left. Can I please have 2 Smokey picks? Can be anything. Keeper, bat, bowl, flex, position, whatever you want.
Well, at the moment, it's half a cop-out because I think it's going to go a lot higher given they've only been in the game for a couple of days. But I still can't believe that Adam Milne's in just 1% and Hassan Khan's in just 3% of sides. Both of them were straight into my team as soon as they got added to the game, especially Khan. If you actually look at his numbers in both, I think he played 2 games in the Caribbean Premier League and also played the whole tournament of Major League Cricket in America, which you think an American T20 tournament that can't be very good, but there's actually some very good players in that league. Both of those leagues, he had really good numbers. Took wickets, often came in at 6 and swung the bat, made some runs. I think he made a half century and a couple of other good knocks as well. He was one of the first into my side, purely because I think he's going to bat 7. He's going to be the second spinner to Zampa. They play at the SCG in the game 1, which is the most friendly spin deck in the country, I believe. So here's one, and then Adam Milne. He's playing on Optus Stadium, which is probably one of the best decks for a quick, and then also the G, which is pretty handy as well. So I don't know. I think both of them two, 1% and 3% own. They're probably my Smokey picks, but I do expect that to rise a fair bit.
I would agree. And just auto pick teams, like I think the closer we get to the rolling lockout, people will start to switch on and obviously make their changes. Lugs, 2 Smokey picks, mate.
Well, mate, I wrote down 4 originally because I thought, it might be some the same. And my first one was Milne at 1.42%. Next was Khan at 3.1%. And I'll say to those watching that we haven't discussed this beforehand, so these are all random. Finn Allen, who I spoke about, he was another one. He's at like 5.8%. And my boy Macca, Hamish McKenzie, he's only at 8.4%, which surprised me as well. As quite a few people scared because of him. And again, I think the decks he's going to be on are favourable, and he's really going to be their only spinner, isn't he? But so there are a couple I don't mind, and it was good to hear Joshy talk up Milne and Khan as well.
Yeah, well, thanks, mate, because you literally just ruined my Smokey picks. They were Hammer McKenzie, who is literally, cannot get enough of this bloke. Absolutely cannot get enough of him. So glad he moved away from Perth purely because of opportunities. And Finn Allen. Like, as you said, those decks, like I'm just getting huge Colin Munro first game vibes from him. And it would not surprise me if he pops. There has been a comment, and I know this is a little bit off track, but that's pretty much what we're renowned for around here. Asama Mir. He's potentially not going to be back for the first game of the round 3 double, which then leaves McKenzie probably, well, you would assume that he's going to play the first game of the round 3 double. And if he does well, he's probably going to play the entirety of the round 3 double anyway. If Mir's Pakistani team make the final, which looking at like there's 5 teams, I'm not entirely sure of the setup, but I assume top 1 would go through and second and third would play off, and then obviously it's a final.
Yep.
So does that not even make Hamish McKenzie's job security even better?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think so.
Well, yeah. I know that Mirror and Maxi will probably be in at the same time in round 3, so I guess that adds 2 spinners in the same round. Because I think that first game Mir would miss if his team does make the finals, which again his team actually has to make the finals. But I think that second game in the round 3 double, he could be. He's most likely back. So I think that's what people are a little concerned about alongside Maxi. But looking at Stars team, they've obviously got they've got Curran, they've got Paris, they've got Stoinis and Webster as their number 3 and number 5 batsmen who can bowl pace as well. Cartwright, a 5% chance, or probably even less, but can bowl pace.
Yeah, not now. Yeah.
Siddle, Steckity, obviously they're going to rotate those guys, but I think there's still room in that side for 2 spinners plus Maxi, purely because of Webster and Stoinis can both bowl pace as well as the current ones they already have in there.
Once McKenzie carves up in the first few games, they're gonna want to keep him around.
But if he stinks it up, we're cooked with that 69K.
But in saying that, it's there's literally no risk to it. Like he's 69K, like it's
But if you're starting him on field, it's going to be pretty hard to move him out. But I think he's guaranteed at least 3 to 4 games at least as that number one spinner.
I would rather Mackenzie on field round 1 than Jai Richardson right now in a heartbeat. It's not even a conversation, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Sure.
The only thing that I'm like worried about with Mackenzie is that first game is on Optus. Like, it's
It is,
like
yes,
the last
yes.
deck you want a spinner on. That's the only thing that's made me slightly concerned about
Should be
Mackenzie.
used to it, though.
Is that?
He
Yeah, I
literally
know.
played for Perth.
Yeah. I think he only played 4 games last year, and I might be wrong, but when I checked, I don't think any of them were on Optus. I think
No, but like
his
he
best
played
game
club
was that.
cricket over there.
Yeah, true, and yeah, for Shield, but still, like for
Like,
a
don't
spinner,
get.
like
I know what you mean. It's
like
not.
how
It's
many
not
years
BBL,
has
but
Agar played on that deck, and how many
He'll
wickets
be
has
right,
he taken?
Macca. Yeah, but
Agar hasn't turned a ball
always
since he
bowls on it.
debuted.
True, but I don't know. That's the one deck. If I could pick any deck in the country for Mackenzie to bowl in game 1, I'd say that one's the one I don't want. It's just that
Yeah, no,
that's
I
the
agree.
only concern I have. And when you got Joel Paris, which that's his home deck, and Steckity as a pace bowler, which, let's be honest, he might only get picked. That's the only thing I'm like slightly concerned about in terms of Mackenzie. But on the flip side, Mackenzie's best game in his 4 games last year was his 2-wicket haul against the Stars, and that was on the G. So that's his second game. So you got the good deck and the bad deck.
That's what we need. Like if he gets 20 in the first game and he gets 60 in the second game, if he's getting 80 for the double, we're laughing.
Absolutely.
Purely.
Yeah.
And then like you don't necessarily need to trade him out. Like he's not a Milne, so to speak. Like where he's definitively he's not going to play. Well, we've kind of gone off track, but that's what we do. I want 2 dud picks, 2 picks that you cannot believe the ownership, Joshy. Who are they?
The first one, I reckon I've made 6 or 7 tweets across the last month.
I know. Can I guess who it is?
Yeah, you're gonna know who it is.
Fraser McGurk, surely.
Yeah, I can't fathom how a bat only at 128k is in 43% of sides. I know he has the double, but
ridiculous.
Nearly half the competition at that price when he has missed every single ball he's swung at in the last couple of months. I know he had an awesome IPL, but guess what? The IPL was in May. Since then, he's done sweet, like F all. He had one good knock against England. He made 50 odd. The Sheffield Shield, he made a 43 like last week, I think it was. But other than that, it's been months and months of absolutely nothing. We saw him against Pakistan, both in the ODI and T20s, do nothing. He's probably going to come out and go 14 off 3, but then he's going to nick off or something or sky it, and he won't get to that 20 plus runs. And I just think 128k for a bat only, there's just so many more options when you've got from the Renegades, you've got Rogers, you've got Fergus, Sutherland is still a chance to bowl. It's a big watch tomorrow.
Yes, it is.
He plays the Stars tomorrow, and Cameron White is pretty confident that he's going to bowl, but yeah, I don't understand that pick. And the second one, geez, I'd probably have to look in through these ownership at the moment. Probably Tim David at 22%, I think. At 72k.
That was literally my guy. Yes.
Yeah, there's no chance he'll bowl. Absolutely no chance. He might get one random over at the start of an innings just to open the bowling. But yeah, 22% is batting number 5, number 6, probably 6. I'd probably say him, especially when at that price you can go 11k up and get a Riley Meredith, who has proven form and he's a bowler, and we all know how much more bowlers can score.
100%. Largs, you're up, mate.
Joshy, did you just look up Tim David's ownership just then?
Yeah, 22%. It's crazy.
Well, he was number 1 on my list, and I looked it up about an hour ago, and he was 21.5%. So he's gone up in the last hour.
He's caught up. Oh,
God. Why? He was my number 1.
I don't know. Yeah.
Absolutely crazy people picking him. I don't know.
Yeah.
He never bowls. He bats at 5 or whatever. Crazy. Anyway, I won't keep harping on about him because you've already picked him. Moses Enriques was another one I picked out. He's the same as Tim David. Everyone gets in this delusion. I think he's bowled 2 overs in the last 2 years or something crazy.
How does he have DPP and Ollie Pope doesn't?
I know.
Right. Jesus
But
Christ.
he's
We're
in
going to do
16
an R-rated podcast very soon, and we
yeah.
are going
He's
to
in
dissect
16%
a
of
few
teams.
things.
Like I just don't, I don't get that. I don't get why all the people have got him in. Outside of that, yeah, I don't know. They were my two main ones. Maybe a Basley, who I don't think is going to play.
Neither do I.
He was in a few. He was in a few teams.
I think people just remember him from the Heat. That's basically it.
Yeah.
Because surely they're not remembering him for last year because he was up and down custard.
Horrible.
Like, just fairy bread merchant. Absolute crap. Well, you both stole who I was going to go, and that was Tim David.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I will say, Largs, you've offended one of our long-time viewers in a good friend of ours straight from Kilmore who was obsessed with Moses Henriquez. And, yeah, mate, I wish you all the best for the future. Death threats, he already has your address, so that will be fine.
There you go, Kai's jumped in one for
I was
your...
about to say that.
Kai's jumped in for your Scobes. Apparently, Harry Nielsen's 14.6%. So,
Jesus Christ.
Adamant.
It's hard to even call him a cricketer, but yeah.
That Harry Nielsen does not know which end of the bat to use.
Oh my
Like he's who's a better cricketer, Sammy Harper or Harry Nielsen?
It's got to be Sammy.
Can I say neither? But Sammy Harper, yeah.
The right option is neither. That's terrible.
I might be picking Sam Harper yet, so it's all good.
I actually want to add one more. Having a look, David Warner 152k at 16% owned with his first double in like round 6 or 7. What is going on there?
If his form's anything like commentary in the test, my God, it's foul. Absolute foul. Oh. And he looks like a used car salesman.
Around 6.
Oh, God. Nah. Oh, God. All right, moving on to our second last segment. We've been on here a while. One high ownership player that we think should be more. So if we're talking like a player that's, say, around the 30%, who is it and why do we think they should be at a higher percentage ownership?
There's an absolute obvious one. Tom Curran, I don't know how he's in 31%. He should be in 50, 60%. He's my VC for round 1, and he was actually my VC even before Maxi got injured.
Yeah.
Like he's going to be batting probably 7, I think. Mm-hmm. Actually, no, with Maxi out, it could go up to 6.
Probably 6. Yep.
Yeah, it's just Cartwright's always bat 6, but whether they like put him up to 3 now that Maxi's out and maybe a Bow at 4, I'm not too sure, even if Bow misses. Honestly, the Stars, let's not even try to predict a Stars lineup right now because it's too hard. But yeah, Curran at 31%, I don't know what people are doing. Like, I actually don't know how he's not one of, if not the most owned players in the game. Like some of the players that own more than him, obviously it's going to change now, but Hardy's in 35%. Mm-hmm. Fraser McGurk again, 43%. I know there's only like 30k difference between those two. Like I don't know how Curran is that low. He's probably the obvious one though.
Larks, what about you, mate?
I'm going our new boy on the scene who's in good form, Big Fergus. He's only in 14% of teams on a double. Very surprised that he's so low. I think people are a little bit scared about his role, and
it's rock solid. Who's going to take overs from him?
I don't know. That's you're hearing everybody saying, they're not sure. He's only new. He's probably the first to go. He might get rotated. He may not even get picked. I just don't see how you can't pick him. The man does everything. He's in form. He's killing it. Sure, it's a different format, but even last year, his 2 performances was really impressive. I didn't have him. I was watching him going, who's this bloke? And yeah, he's pretty good, and he does it all. He's decent with the bat. He's good in the field, and yeah, so 14% for a double at 107 or just over 100,000 or something. I'm very surprised he's that low. So he's my pod star, which I think's gonna light it up.
No, I get that. You did. So I was going to go with Fergus. So now I'm quickly trying to find someone, and I reckon I've got someone. It's not Matt Short, but if you're not starting him, my God. Whew. Anyway, this bloke, below 85K, fair few games to kick the season off, should be owned by 50% more of super coaches. Have a guess who it might be. Joshy, one guess off the top of your head.
I just had a look at Zampa's ownership. It's Zampa.
Motherfucker. It is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. 80K. Don't get me wrong. Last year, he was absolute tripe. Completely useless.
What's he at?
Is it 50% ownership?
50.
Yep. I have no idea. Like, he should be Stoinis levels. I don't know Stoinis' ownership, but to me, Zampa was one of the easiest picks you can go with. It's literally 80K. It's 12K more than Renshaw. He plays more games than him. He's a bowler. And let's be honest, who is going to take overs off Adam Zampa? Who?
He's the one. He's the one you can guarantee.
They'll get both guys
in that team.
Absolutely. And like last year, I know you had the workload and everything like that, and his little mate left him in Stoin, and there was a bit of a relationship breakdown, and blah, 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 cry me a river, get on with it, come on, do something. But he's 80K at 50%. I don't unless it's just all auto pick teams, I do not understand it.
Maybe they don't like his new look.
They all look like Muppets anyway with these mullets, but if you got points on looks, well, sure, it would be on 1,000.
He's got the Eminem look now, remember, Zamps?
Oh, yeah, gross. My God, little Eshe. Right, we're going to move on. We are moving on to questions to finish this off. And the first one I see, Damien, thank you so much for joining in tonight. Are you guys going cold on Zampa with Khan signing? Absolutely not. Joshy, are you going cold on Zamps?
I'm not, no, especially with the first game at the SCG. I know that's one of the most famous spin pitches in Australia, but I think their second game, Monica, from memory, is that a good spinning pitch as well? I can't remember.
I think it's okay.
Yeah, so they've got SCG and Monica first up, so I think they could definitely just go 4 overs for Zampa and 2 to 4 for Khan. So I'm not too worried.
Largs, are you worried at all, mate?
They don't play in the same team for a start, but
yes, they do.
Isn't Zampa at? Oh yeah, they do. Don't worry about it.
You can tell we do our research around here, can't you, everyone? Jesus,
right. They're both gays now. I'm thinking Zamps is still with his boys. Yeah,
and that was with a D in there, wasn't it? That was gays.
Yeah, of course it was.
Thank you. Clarification.
Queensland accent, mate. You got to listen to Mexicans. Yeah, I'm not too worried. But like I said earlier, I think Zampa's the only one that really bowls 4. I think guessing who's going to bowl their allotment out of the others is probably the issue. I think Zampa first, probably Rogers is your next one, likely to bowl 4, and then what happens with the rest of them? Does Sutho and Khan share overs and so on from there? But I'm not worried about Zampa. If that was the question, you've thrown me now. If that was the question, I'm not worried about Zampa at all.
Yeah,
perfect. No, I'm not worried about Zampa.
Now that he's with the Renegades, it's good.
The Myth, it's good to see you here, mate. We missed you from last year. I'm sure you'll be on with us in the near future. Question specifically for Scobes. Oh, Jesus Christ, this will be good. Who will be the highest run scorer in round 1 and why? Oh, and that's why you're not on tonight.
Why will it be John O'Wells?
Right. Will you guys go the other... Best actor of being a cricketer in the past 10 years, because that bloke is absolutely atrocious. Will you guys go the way of other pods and drop some merch in the future? That's if the budget allows it. We pay a lot around here. That's why Largs is sitting in a gold chair. I am not reading that out. Probably puts
Jesus
Ty,
Christ.
Edwards, and Abbott back on the map, as a lot had plans to bring them in. I assume
And I think that
was
came
for
in when we were
Webster.
talking about Webster. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, yeah, no, 100% Kai, absolutely. Joshy, I would assume that you agree with that.
Yeah, I agree. Like,
Yep.
Edwards is probably one of the first guys that I'm targeting outside the players that I don't have at the moment. I called a little on him. Like, he was in for a long time, but I called a little once I saw firstly the form of Curse Patterson, but then I also looked up Dan Hughes's timeline, and it actually looks like he's fit now or in a couple of weeks if it's off the initial timeline. They initially said 8
the
to
other
10
day.
weeks. Really? Yeah, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I saw the initial timeline was 8 to 10 weeks, and I think that 8 weeks was Saturday last weekend. So he's either fit now. If not, Patterson's in really good form. So I think he probably slides back to 6 and bowls in that 2 to 4 over range. So I've cooled a little bit, but it's still a decent roll.
Yeah. Largs, your thoughts, mate? Surely you agree.
Yeah, mate.
Yep.
Definitely.
Perfect.
They're all in my team anyway, so.
Oh, there you
All
go.
3.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Saba isn't at the moment, but Ty and Edwards are.
Yeah. Johnny Smith, thank you once again for joining in, mate. Overton or 2 Perth bowlers, lads? I assume this is the question that you DM'd us. Overton and a 39k player or 2 Perth bowlers. I assume it's going to be Richo and Berendorf, because I know you're huge on them. Personally, on that, I'd go the 2 Perth bowlers, just because they're so good. And yes, Overton's good, but if you bring in a 39k player, I'd much rather go with the 2 Perth bowlers. Joshy, your thoughts?
I still think you need Overton, whether or
Yeah.
not he trades him in or not. I think Overton's probably, like, I know we're talking about Short before, could potentially be a 3 or 4k bat only, but you know that Overton's guaranteed to bowl his 4 and good overs too. Like, he probably gets a couple of early overs and also bowls death overs. So I think I'm going to tentatively say 2 Perth bowlers to start, but also I think you definitely need Overton at some point before that round 2 round ends. So,
well, absolutely.
Yeah, you go over way, but definitely have to have Overton, I think.
100%. Largs, your thoughts on this, mate?
Well, he doesn't really say who's with Overton. Like, Overton's 200,000, 2 Perth bowlers together is anywhere from 270 to 300. So it depends.
He sent this in a DM earlier, and it was Overton and a 39k player.
Oh, in that case, you probably go on the 2 Perth.
Yeah.
2 Perth bowlers, but you need Overton for round 2 because he's going to be the top. He's going to be the top scorer in that round double for the strikers. So you need him.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd probably VC him over Short at this stage. Obviously, we haven't seen any game time, but I mean, if Short comes out, bowls 2 to 4 overs and bats well, then obviously he's my VC. But I think at the moment, Overton's role looks slightly better at 6 and bowling death and 4 overs in total.
These are terrible working conditions.
Big Steckett is going to put one straight through Short in the first game.
I need a trigger warning on Stecky's name, honestly. I picked him last year for that 3-game 9 average.
I think all 3 of us had him.
Oh, my goodness. He single-handedly ruined my rank. Like, it was the worst thing ever.
I went him over Harris Ralph. I didn't have enough for Ralph, and I had to sit there and watch the total polar opposites. It was rough.
Where was that game played at? Because that was at the tiny little oval, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Who got a hold of him? Someone absolutely dispatched him.
It wasn't Moe, was it? You know how they played those games in Moe? Was it Moe? Yeah, probably. Yeah. Moe or that Sydney one. What's that one in Sydney where it's like...
at the junction.
Out a bit. No, that's St Kilda. But there's a Sydney one, I swear it's like Coffs Harbour something. Like stadium. Is that in Sydney? Yeah, one of those stadiums. I think it was one of those weird stadiums,
Who? Because it was definitely a bat on. Was it Lynn? I don't know. Someone got a hold of him, and he scored 9.
It just got torched. Yeah.
And that was in a double game week. Got dropped for the second game and didn't come
We're
back
getting
in.
sidetracked again.
We are. We need to get to the questions.
Two
I
Perth bowlers.
apologise. Damien M says, I'm on the avoid Matt Short. Oh, mate, DM me. We need to talk about that.
He's huge on that. He's
And
he made a big statement on X about it too. I can't remember what exactly it was.
Which I was reserved with.
If he brings them in by round 2, he'll delete the app or something, I believe.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
He's standing by. Good on you, Damo.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. All right, Juicy Gerbil, our mascot, wants to know who is the best Smokey pick for under 100K? I'm going Mackenzie. Simple as that. Like that. I don't understand how he's not in more. Yep, you can't steal this one from me, gents. Joshy, what about you?
Given Mackenzie is probably what you guys both said, I'm going to go the opposite. Who's the worst pick under 100K in that double game at the moment? We forgot to mention before, but I don't really like Kane Richardson at 97K, to be honest. He's in 16%. No. He's played not much cricket since February. I think he played the BBL, and I think he played some other tournament just after it. It might have been the Bangladesh Premier League or something like that, some low-level comp. And then since then, he's barely played except for some grade cricket. So going the opposite way, just because I can't give you another guy under 100K besides like a Thornton, who I think most people are on, it would probably be going against Richardson.
Well, Richo actually played on the weekend. He bowled 4 overs, none for 47. Absolute shite.
I didn't say that.
Terrible.
That just further emphasizes
He's not a pick, not a pick. No. And he's a flight risk as well. He always goes back home at Christmas, always. He's
also a risk of arrest, like in general, I think. Yeah.
Largs, what about you, mate?
It's good being last on these things. You take Mackenzie, then Josh goes, I can't take Thornton, I'll go someone else. So you're picking everyone, I was going to say. But, I think Henry Thornton's a good one. You mentioned Zampa at 80,000.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know, there's plenty of good ones out there that you could go. You know, if you don't want someone, if you want someone a little bit more pottish, Meredith, I think something like 80K.
Meredith,
you've honestly got plenty out there. I get depends if you want, your doubles or if you want your singles, but there's lots of good value out there. Even more so when you don't pick Matt Short, you can get them all.
That's the thing. Like if the Canes had an earlier double in round 8, I would have picked Meredith so 100%. Quickly. It's just it's just so far away.
Yeah. Hey, Damo's got Finn Allen equals Warner 2.0. I'm not sure, is that good or not good? I haven't worked it out.
That's terrible.
Horrible.
That's not good. Who's our prediction for which team is going to win the comp?
I'm not going to go generic with the not generic with the Scorchers or Sixers. I'm going to go the Strikers, honestly.
Striker Nation.
I don't know what it is.
Yes.
I don't know what it is. Just
because they're led by the best captain in the country.
It depends when Lynn leaves, though, because he even left like before finals last year, and they're probably going to. I haven't checked availability too much, but they're probably going to lose Pope. They're probably going to lose. I think they might have Overton the whole season, but it's such a hard thing to predict when you don't actually know.
They'll get Trent
back. Fairly sure.
Back,
but, Head and Terry as well.
Most of the boys that are playing in that ILT 20 league, their BBL commitments preface that, so their contract will be honoured, and then obviously they go afterwards. Yeah,
so I'd probably go Strikers winning, and I think Thunder are bottom by a country mile. Again, like they've got such a bad team. It's horrible.
Yeah, no, I agree. Largs, what about you, Matt? Of course you're going to say the Heat.
Well, interesting, the Strikers, actually. I have it the three-team show again. I think it's Perth, Heat, and Sixers. One of those three.
No, I would agree.
Be very upset if it's outside of them. I mean, Perth are favourites and probably deserve to be favourites, but all these injuries popping in probably doesn't help. But I guess you'd rather have that now than at the end. But if they're all there, I probably would lean the Scorchers, to be honest.
I think Heat now have the best bowling lineup in the comp.
And this, I actually want to say one thing on this. I've obviously, Goobs, I've got Seifert as a keeper. A big reason is so you can just go easily to Inglis. But Joe Clark, his first 2 games, has the Scorchers and the Heat, who are the 2 best bowling lineups in the league by far. So, and like at Optus as well against the Scorchers, and then that's why I can't pick him. And I know he had that little bit of good form in the Global Super League, but
that's taking the absolute
the quality in that
piss.
league was shit. And like
I'd make runs in that.
His form was horrible. So I just wanted to say that Clark's, as I heard the best bowling lineup in the league, I had to mention those 2 lineups he faces in the first 2 games.
Pretty tough, isn't it?
Yeah.
I reckon if the Heat batsmen click, they win it. Simple as that.
Well, that's it. Their batters need a bit of improvement, but we'll get Marnus back later on.
Oh, he doesn't know which end of the stick to hold, mate. He's an absolute pansy. Global says, "G'day there, you beautiful people. Thank you so much for joining in tonight." The sir wants to know. Actually, Largs, I'm going to ask you. You're not starting Matt Short.
Yep.
Who would you use that cash on instead? I want you to give me 2 names. So you've got 150K in the bank.
Yep.
Who are you using that cash on?
With regards to what, bettering the team, or
so you've got a 39K player on the bench. You've halved Matt Short to a 150.
I'm going to go Finn Allen. Like I said, Finn Allen, he's a really good batsman. I think they're very similar type players. He's not going to bowl. I'm not convinced Matty Short's going to have that big of a role bowling. So, yeah, I'm going to go Finn Allen. Finn Allen goes 1 game into a double. So he's playing 3 games, the same amount of games as Shorty. He's on good decks to bat on. He's a Kiwi boy that, I'm hoping should be used to our conditions. And like I said, I'm going him. And the theory is if he can score similar to Matty Short, I got 150,000. I'm making the rest of my team better. So, you go Matt Short and that 39K player, or you could go Finn Allen and what he got left. Then you've still got 170, 180,000. You buy anyone in the game. Like no one's priced that high. That's playing at the moment. So you can pretty much take your pick.
Lovely. We will move on to the next question. Johnny Smith wants to know, are you guys picking Jason Fraser McGurk? I am not currently. Joshy, I assume nothing's changed in the past 15 minutes.
Bufford. All I heard was McGurk. That's
are you picking him?
Oh, absolutely not.
No perfect. Way. Largs, are you?
Nah, mate. Sorry, Rooster.
Perfect. Damo wants to know, do we think Webster bowls a little bit of spin? No.
Nah, probably not. No.
Don't need to. Supercoach Edge.
His pace is what got him into that squad. Like he's improved so much the last 2 years just because he started bowling pace, I reckon.
Oh, God, where are we? Supercoach Edge, shout out to those boys. They do a fantastic job. I'm going to assume this is Damo. Damo wants to know, which wicketkeeper are we taking? I'm currently on Seifert purely because of games that he will play and price point. Joshy?
Yeah, Seifert, purely because you can just go straight to Inglis, or even if Inglis was to be called back to that test squad for whatever reason, an injury, anything, you can go Hurst. And yeah, I just think he's a better option, hands down, than Clark anyway, as what we were speaking about before in terms of those bowling lineups he faces.
Largs?
I'm either on Sam Harper or Inglis. So with, I think, Webster out, I think that probably cements Sammy Harper in there. If he's up
batting
the top,
at 9.
Batting up the top. So I'll chuck him on the bench and see how he goes. Again, he's only cheap, and if I've got that money in the bank, I can pivot if I have to, if he shits the bed and doesn't go that well. But yeah, it's either him or Inglis. I I've got the money for either. I haven't totally decided yet, but one of those two for me, pending roles.
I like that. Right. This is actually a very interesting question. Johnny Smith wants to know if the VC from Stars game fails, who are we going to captain from the Gades? Joshy?
I had it on Sutherland, but then the news came out about him not buying that injury and whatnot. And since he's been added to the game, it's actually been on Khan. I'm not gonna lie there. I've had it on Hassan Khan, maybe a Fergus O'Neill. But yeah, at the moment, purely because he's the most likely out of that Gates lineup to bat and bowl, it'll be Khan.
What about you, Largs?
I'm at the moment backing in Fergie Ferg.
I like it. I'd probably be on Curran as well. I think even Curran will be my VC. If he'd need to get like a 30 not to roll with, I reckon. What's our line for the VC, Joshy?
I think you kind of hit on the nail head. I'd probably go 30. Just because I'm not really that confident in any of the Gates as a captaincy option. Like I'm confident to pick them, but just like question marks on all of them as captaincy options. So probably 30.
Largs, what about you, mate?
Yeah, I'm pretty much same as what Josh said. I'm really be worried about who to pick in the Gates and be worried about that. If he had 30, I'd be happy with it. I can remember Curran last time. I think he was on a double, went really low in game one, and then pumped out 100 or so in the second game. So I'd be happy if he had 30. I'd be happy. Maybe even 20 something. It's still a head
just
start.
That roll.
He'd really have to be like single digits or something's happened to him too.
Yeah.
Or he
Just
runs
sort
into
of,
an umpire because he's an absolute toss.
Yeah.
That oval, the tiny one, is North Sydney, Joshy, thanks to Kai.
Yeah, right. I thought it was one of them. Yeah, and he said as well, Coughs is the one that Steve Smith scored the 100 on.
Smashed him.
Yeah.
Right, and we've got some breaking news from the Supercoach Edge. They reckon Clark is dealing with a sty in his eye. Well, I'm a poet, and I didn't even know it. He reckons it could be pink eye, so I don't know if he's taking the piss or not.
No, it has to be a piss take. I reckon he's got you there.
To the moon.
I don't know. Oh, well, that wraps us all up. Joshy, thank you so much for being here. Largs, thank you so much for being here. To everyone that posted in questions that we could read out and the ones that obviously we definitely could not read out. Joshy, actually, one last question, mate. What cream do you use on your face to moisturise? The chat wants to know.
I don't use any products. This is natural. This is natural scoops.
Lovely, mate. Well, to the person who asked that, that's wonderful. Guys, you know where to find us. You can find me on X at Scoby_SC Hub. Joshy, where can the listeners find you, mate?
X as well, JJ_SC Hub.
Perfect. Largs, where can the listeners find you, mate?
Yeah, I'm on X at Largs Piers. I'm always in the SC Hub. Slogboy Maiden is my hub name and my SuperCoach name, so you can find me on either of them.
Wonderful. Don't forget to follow us all. Check out the Discord, SC Hub. It's always going on in there. Big shout out to our sponsors, Honeyball. They have injury reports. They have literally everything you need to make your SuperCoach coaching a better experience. Live updates, injuries, everything you can think of, fixture planners and availability. Check those guys out. Tell them we sent you. Thank you to the 216 people that are currently watching us. We have gone way too long. It is time to end. We will see you sometime next week. We haven't decided, but we will be sure to get that out on socials. Have a wonderful night, and we can't wait for SuperCoach to start. Goodbye.
Thanks, gang. See you, lads.